Hello, my name is Sarah and I'm here today to talk to you about my honors project. Now with my honors project, I mainly worked with Genesis Youth Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that helps level the playing field for first-generation American citizens and African immigrant kids. They do this by giving the kids an opportunity to play soccer at a competitive level, which would otherwise cost thousands of dollars a year to play. They also tutor by giving them math and reading resources, and then they also have dance, sewing, and cooking, and it's a great opportunity for these kids. I first learned about Genesis when Miss Downing suggested it to me in December of my junior year. She said, "Sarah, you're a soccer player, you're a leader. Genesis needs a female leader who can coach soccer. You're a perfect fit, you at least have to try it." So I was, okay, sounds fun, why not? And I emailed Sam over winter break. Sam is the founder of Genesis. And in early January, I had an interview. It wasn't really an interview, but he just kind of wanted to get to know me a little bit, make sure I was a good fit for the kids. And the next week, I started volunteering twice a week with them as a coach. Soon, it was time to put in the idea for my honors project. And I was so active at Genesis that I thought, this is perfect. And I just had to think, what would I do that is worthy of an honors project? I can't just volunteer and have that be it. So Sam and Trisha, who are the two co-founders, were thinking about starting a mentorship program the next year so that kids would have an older sibling to rely on and kind of push them to be the best that they can be. And I immediately stepped up and was like, I will help. I will do that. I will do whatever you need. And I quickly said, that'll be my honors project. Easy. In the spring of my junior year, I continued coaching and tutoring. Time summer rolled around, there was a 3v3 tournament coming up in July that Sam could only enroll a girls team in. The only problem? We had like 4 girls that were interested in soccer with the Genesis program at the time. So Sam put it on me and said, Sarah, recruit, get them. Have girls play soccer, because there's a lot of girls that dance but don't play just because they don't think soccer's interesting. So I need you to be a salesman for our soccer team and really get them to just try it. I finally got the bare minimum amount of girls I needed to enter the tournament. The tournament was great. It was an amazing experience. We didn't win a lot, but the younger team got participation medals, so that was great. All the parents showed up. It was an amazing turnout. And the last game on Saturday, someone barbecued a bunch of burgers and brought them to the game. It was amazing to see how the girls felt so much more a part of their community with soccer. With the success of the tournament, we had enough girls interested in soccer that we could enter in a rec level soccer team in the Iowa League for the fall. Now, this team was interesting. There were 5-year-olds on it, there were 12-year-olds on it, and every age in between, and so they had to play in the oldest league. So there were 2 12-year-olds on the team, and they were playing against teams of all 12-year-olds. They didn't win a game, but they tied one, and that was a huge success. And every single time, the girls had fun. Their parents would come, their brothers would come cheer. It was great. Now, backtrack a little bit to the beginning of the school year. Sam started to kick off the mentorship program. He paired up kids with their older siblings and kind of gave us mentors like a list of things to do, like make sure they're doing their reading, make sure they're logging into their schoolwork, stuff like that. But it just wasn't quite working the way Sam envisioned it. So he scrapped it pretty quickly, and I was like, great. That's like my honors project. But you know, you just gotta roll with the punches, figure it out. So I started to dedicate more of my time strictly to soccer. By the time the fall season ended, the girls were happy, wanted to keep going, so I considered that a success. Then my focus shifted away from the girls and more to the guys. There was an indoor tournament coming up in December, and Sam asked if I wanted to help coach them. Of course, I was like, yes, sign me up. I love these kids. Why not? We had 2 teams entered into the tournament, an older team and a younger team, and I was put in charge of the younger team. It's very different coaching girls and boys, and I hadn't been around the boys nearly as much as I had been around the girls, so they didn't quite have that trusting bond with me, and they didn't quite believe everything I was saying. So it was kind of difficult to build up that trust and respect, but I got there eventually. By the time the tournament rolled around in December, I thought my team was gonna do okay. I didn't think we'd do amazing, but we definitely weren't the worst. And so we entered into the tournament. The older team was doing pretty good. They were playing boys like 3 years older than them, and they were really holding their own. And there was a lot of chatter about how good the older Genesis team was doing. So now I felt like I had some pressure on me, like the older boys are doing good. Will my boys do good? But I was worrying for nothing. My boys did great. We ended up winning the tournament. A week after our win in December, we had a coaches meeting so we could discuss how we wanted the program to grow and how we were going to get there. I attended the meeting and gave the suggestion of having a little league. A lot of our kids had younger siblings who wanted to play soccer, but they were only 2, 3, 4, so playing with the older kids who were in 7th and 8th grade just simply wasn't safe nor fun for the little ones. I remember when I was little, playing in the little cubby league was how my dad got me interested in soccer. He bought me little red shoes to match my red jersey, and is the reason I fell in love with the sport. So I wanted to give that opportunity to the kids of the Genesis program. Also, being able to train them from a young age would help give them more discipline and more skills that we could work with when they were older. One of our biggest challenges with the 7th and 8th graders and the older kids is that they don't have a lot of discipline because they weren't playing in organized practices since they were little. So it's a little harder to round them up and get them to really settle in and listen. Right after that meeting is when my personal life started to have an effect on my project. So about a week after the meeting, I sprained my ankle, so I wasn't able to attend practices due to the fact that I couldn't walk. Then, about a week after I had recovered from my ankle injury, I was in a car accident. I was hit by a drunk driver at 40 miles an hour, and so I had to do a lot of PT to get back to normal for my senior season, because at the time, we thought my senior soccer season was gonna happen. And so, between all of my physical therapy, trainings for soccer, and just like my rehab, I wasn't able to attend Genesis nearly as much as I'd wished, and it totally broke my heart that I had to leave my kids like that. However, I still tried to stay in contact with them. I have a few of their numbers, so I would text them periodically. I'd stay in touch with the coaches and help them with practice plans. And even though I couldn't be there physically nearly as much as I wanted to make sure that I was still fully involved with the program. Unfortunately, I had to do PT all the way up until spring break, so I really wasn't able to get back into my normal routine of attending and volunteering on the weekly. Then, after spring break, as soon as the first COVID-19 case was announced in Polk, Sam decided to shut down all Genesis activities, practices, anything until this crisis lifted. And so, since then, even though I'm out of PT and have all the free time in the world, I've not been able to attend practices, nor have I been able to help with practice plans. I've been in contact with one of the coaches who's my age, and he's just as in the dark with me on all the executive stuff that's happening on how Genesis is hoping to handle this crisis. However, I've still tried to keep in touch with as many kids as possible. Like I said before, I have a lot of their numbers, I've started to get their Snapchats, and I just want to check in and make sure that they're doing okay. I feel like even though I haven't had the face-to-face contact with them that I have since before 2020, I still think it's important to keep those relationships up, because eventually this pandemic is going to end and I'm going to see them again. So I don't want to start from square one by them thinking, you abandoned me for, what is it now? 5, 6 months. You abandoned me for 6 months. How can I know that I can trust you? Which is why I think it's important that I stay in touch with them. I think it's great because they trust me enough to tell me their feelings. If they're having a bad day, they'll tell me. They can kind of unload some of their emotions onto me, and I'm totally fine with that. I just want to help them. Just because my project is technically over doesn't mean I'm going to stop volunteering. I love these kids and they trust me, and I definitely want to take them to at least one more tournament this summer before I go off to college. Even though I didn't stick with the idea of the mentorship program throughout my entire project, I still think I helped Genesis grow in immense ways. I helped recruit the first girls soccer team, which is now a forever thing. They would have entered a girls team in the spring if they would have had a season, but the girls are fully committed to soccer now, and I feel like I really helped that get started. I also helped come up with the idea for the littlest kids practices and was able to coach kids all throughout the years and create bonds. Thank you for listening about my honors project. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy during this quarantine. Bye.